Today is the second walk in a short series to get you moving. This is a brisk walk with ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous, childhood stories from Norway to keep you distracted while your feet do the work. Start walking at an easy warm-up pace. You could do this walk outside or inside on a treadmill or walking pad. There'll be a bell at the halfway point in case you want to turn around. Follow the beat. Follow the music. So when I was a kid, I lived with my grandma in Norway for a while. We called her Mormor, which is short for Mormor, and she was really strict and very, very old school. And when my cousins would visit me, she would look at them and me and say, "You kids have no imagination." In the meanwhile, we were in the middle of nowhere, up in the forest by a farm, and so we were tying grains together to make tunnels and digging snow caves into roadside ditches and even sneaking up on baby elks to pet them. Yep, that was a little bit dangerous, but sure, Mormor, we had no imagination. Stay with that pace. Being completely unsupervised in the forest alone and in the fields alone really sounds like a great setup for kids to build death traps and snowbanks and get lost in the forest. Because, bored brains don't stop working. They just get creative. And sometimes when you get creative, you can get a little too creative. And sometimes I wonder how in the world I made it through my childhood without dying. Because let me tell you, I did a lot of really stupid things. Today as we walk, we're just going to give your brain something different to do to pass the time. And not get in trouble, hopefully, not do the things that I did. Pick up a little bit of pace now. It's a little bit brisk-ish. That's not even a word, but we're going to go with that today. Following the music. Shoulders are down away from your ears. Living up in the middle of nowhere, we would often have a lot of snow, and then after big snows, the snowplow would come through. We lived on this little quiet road that no one barely used. We lived at the bottom, and there was one other house there, but we didn't have a car, so we never drove on this road at all. But when the snowplow came through, there would be huge piles of snow on both sides that would be packed into the ditches. So when my cousins visited, we looked at that and we thought, hey, we should dig into that. So we did. We dug straight down and then sideways, and we built these incredible tunnels and secret little rooms. And then we brought in tea lights for lighting because we want it to be cozy, obviously. And the walls got icy as the rooms warmed up, from our breath and the candles. We had wet mittens, wet knees, but we had our own private underground world, and it was so magical. Stay with that pace. Our special underground world was so amazing. Looking back as an adult, those tunnels could have collapsed, the rooms could have collapsed, they could have buried us. Nobody knew where we were. It didn't occur to us that it was dangerous. And I guess that's what happens when kids who have no imagination or no imagination are left to fend for themselves. And if the snow tunnel was a questionable idea, we'll wait till we get to the barn. Stay with that pace. Keep your breathing going steady and strong. Now we're going to pick up a little bit of speed. Brisker pace. Feel the music? Because we're heading into a barn, a little bit of a cowboyish. Yeehaw! Shoulders are loose. So there was a barn next to my grandma's house, and there were 3 little bulls in there. There was little boy, little boy, and little boy. I was maybe about 6 years old. I was standing in the barn with my mom and my sister looking at these little bulls, and behind us was a pile of manure. So after a while, I decided to turn my back, and it was kind of a big mistake. because suddenly I felt a hard thud, and the air whooshed right out of me, and little boy had kicked me from behind, face first into a pile of manure. And thank goodness it was the littlest bowl. Can you imagine if it was little boy instead of little boy? So yes, I have been kicked into a pile of bullshit. And you can't even write stories like that. What do they say? Truth is stranger than fiction? And one time I was playing alone by the field, because fields are so exciting for little children alone. I was about 9 years old at that time, and I spotted a baby elk in that field. It was right at the edge of the forest. It was so tiny and it was so cute, and I've always loved animals. And the mama elk was a little bit further back, and she was just standing there watching, not bothering anybody. So I, in my infinite wisdom, decided I was going to go pet the baby. Seemed like a good idea for a lonely kid, at the time. Stay with your pace. So I started slowly walking towards the baby, and then Mama lifted her head, and she stared right at me, but I kept walking. And then suddenly, she charged. And no warning, just charging right towards me. And I turned around, and I ran screaming back towards the house. My arms were pumping, my feet were flying, and I was so filled with terror because I finally saw the position I was in. And so I got to the house, and I flung open the door to the mudroom, and I slammed it shut. And a second later, Mama Elk was right there by the stairs up there. And it felt like something out of a horror movie. So yes, I almost got trampled by a large elk. And that can be added to my bio, my LinkedIn bio. Stay with that pace. Shoulders are down. Hands are soft. Push the ground away with the balls of your feet. If you want, you can go a little bit faster. Maybe double time it a little bit. You double time an elk, mama. Push it strong here. Get that oxygen flowing. Every day, every walk, we get a little bit stronger. Just trying to flip the same but different, as they say in Thailand, trying to flip that on its head. Now slow your pace a little bit. Let your breathing settle. And boredom is not always nothing to do. Sometimes your brain just goes on vacation. You drive somewhere every day, the same route, and then one day you don't know where you are, or you don't know how you got home. Sometimes it's a little scary because it happens to me. And as kids, when we get bored, we're curious, we're creative, and then that can lead to really bad decision making, like you just learned. Some of my many terrible decision making stories I have from my life. But as an adult, doing something different, shaking things up a little bit, kind of helps us break out of that ho-hum, hum-dum. So as you're walking, maybe some days try a different route. Some days try a different pace. That's why we're doing some intervals, some briskish, some power. Have a different story in your ears. Roll those shoulders backwards now. Big rolls. Big rolls. And then roll your shoulders forwards. Slow it down a little bit more now. Deep breath in through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Relax your hands. Relax your face. And when you're done, give yourself a little stretch if you have time. Drink a little bit of water. Hope you enjoyed my ridiculous childhood stories. Make sure you press follow so the next walk is waiting for you. And also, if you could share this walk with a friend, it will really help the podcast. And I'll see you next time for week 3.
We're walking and talking. We're walking and talking. We're walking and talking. We're walking and talking with Helen Ryan.